let's find out about the Mark 6 patrol boat of the US Navy.
All right, good morning, sir. I'm Lieutenant Peter Bew. I am from FISI 6.7.5, currently stationed in Bahrain. And please welcome to the Mark 6. So the Mark 6 is one of the most capable platforms the U.S. Navy has right now. She's brand new, but some of her mission sets are maritime infrastructure protection, critical infrastructure protection, high-value asset escorting, supporting intel sailors, supporting VBSS teams, and things of that nature. She's still new, so as of right now, they're still developing the primary mission sets of the Mark 6. The Mark 6, she's 85 feet in length. Her draft is 4 feet. Her legs, we can go up to 500 nautical miles on a single gas tank. If needed, we can refuel and replenish at sea. And she is capable of going over 40 knots, depending upon the sea state. Starting up here in the pilot house, this is where the magic happens on the boat. Right here on the port side back aft is where my engineer sits. The small black screens there on the left are where the engineer can see all his readings for the plant below. And then as well as we have cameras in the engineering spaces that he can pull up here as well. Most importantly to me is this console right here and these two joysticks. So my engineer not only doubles as an engineer, but also a gunner. So the Mark 38 gun up forward that you can see, my engineer is responsible for sending rounds downrange if necessary. In front of the engineer seat up here, that is my navigator. We have an electronic navigation system as well as we still do paper charts. So it is a unique thing in the US Navy that we are still required to do that. In the center here, this is where my coxswain sits. So the coxswain is in charge of getting the boat from A to B as safely as possible. This little joystick right here is how the coxswain actually drives the boat. Oftentimes, it's just 2 fingers or 1 to go port or starboard. Over here is the throttles that the coxswain uses. So one unique thing about the Mark 6 is we have jet engines. So think of a giant jet ski, but we have 2. And on the end of those engines, we have what's called buckets. And those buckets will rotate, and that is how we will control the boat, or more specifically, how the coxswain will drive the boat. On the starboard side here is where my communicator sits. So the white screen there that says Furuno, the communicator is able to bring up different communication circuits on that, as well as on the left side here. But to me, more importantly, my communicator doubles as a Mark 50 gunner as well. So the screen on the left and that joystick there on the right, he controls the Mark 50 that is on the O2 level here. So as you'll see now and throughout this tour, there's a pattern. So not only are these sailors responsible for getting the ship safely from A to B, but they all double as gunners. So it is unique from other assets in the Navy where just because you're in a seat does not mean that you are not qualified to get behind a mount and do work if necessary. Starboard back aft here is the boat captain's seat. So the boat captain in the US Navy is usually an E6 or a chief, which is very unique because they are responsible for the overall tactical application of the craft. So these boats always work in pairs. So you're looking at an 11-man crew, 1 officer, and 10 enlisted sailors. Because we always travel in packs, or in a 2-boat patrol or 3, the officer is responsible for the patrol itself. So when we get underway, my concern is all 3 boats and how to maneuver those, where the boat captain is specifically responsible for his 1 boat. Another unique aspect of this position is that the boat captain has weapons release authority by our commanding officer, Commander Wild Bill Swinford. So it is a very unique position, and it carries with it a huge weight of responsibility. This is the main cabin of the Mark VI patrol boat. So there's upwards of 20 seats. These seats can be taken off if necessary or mission dependent. So all these seats in here, if needed, they're all on tracks or skids. We can offload them to add more room for equipment or crew if necessary. Now what's going on back here? Back aft here on the port side is the aft Mark 50 console. So the remote control weapon on the O2 level back aft is controlled from right there. On the starboard side here is where our corpsman will do his work if we have any injured on board. And there are different things that we are capable of getting that injured individual off if needed. If not, the corpsman is capable of stabilizing them until we can get them to the next higher level of care. So right now we are in the main crew cabin. So as you can see, we have a small sitting area. As for accommodations, we have a microwave, a coffee pot, 2 small fridges and 2 freezers. And the head is directly astern of the 2 fridges. Top of the Mark VI or the O2 level. What you're looking at here is our aft Mark 50 gun mount. There's also one up forward, and then we have 2 50 caliber machine guns, both port and starboard side. Up here is a second pilot station, so if needed, depending upon the circumstances, the cox can drive the Mark VI from the O2 level as well.